Hi guys, welcome back. So on this week's video, I wanted to talk about my top 10 tips for helping you survive night shift. As I mentioned on my previous video, I've been working night shift for 13 years. So these are just the top 10 things that I think you should do to help you survive night shift. So let's get to it. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is caffeine. I know many of you guys already do this on your own. You guys drink your Starbucks or whatnot, but there are tons of caffeine options out there that can help you stay awake during night shift. Some people like energy drinks, some people like Starbucks, some people have an espresso machine at home, they make their own coffee. For me personally, I like to drink a little bit of BCAAs mixed with my water, and it has a little bit of caffeine. So this will help me stay awake for my night shift. You do whatever works out best for you. One thing important though about caffeine is you don't want to drink it too late into your shift, because if you drink it too late into your shift, you may not be able to fall asleep during the daytime. Personally, me, I don't drink any caffeine after 2 a.m. That way I have about 5.5 hours before I have to go to bed. So you just have to find what works best for you. And some people don't even drink caffeine for night shift. I barely started drinking my caffeinated drink maybe like a year or two ago. So you just do what's best for you. But caffeine does help a lot of us stay awake on the night shift. Okay, the second thing I want to talk to you guys about is to unwind. It's so important to be able to unwind before bed so that your mind can shut down and go to sleep during the day. So things that I do to help me is I shower right before bed. And when I shower, I usually put like some relaxation music on in the background, or I shower with the lights very dim, just to kind of help myself unwind. Also, other things that I do is I read a book or I meditate. And there's some awesome meditation apps out there that really help you clear your mind before you go to bed. One important tip about unwinding I wanted to share with you guys is to try not to do social media before bed. Most of the time, if you're like me, you can get stuck on social media for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then before you know it, it's cutting into your sleep time. So I try to put my phone to charge when I come home in the morning and leave it on the charger while I shower, while I meditate, while I go to bed. And then that way I'm just so tired that when I hit the bed, I go straight to sleep. I don't even reach for my phone. So unwinding is so important, and I hope that you guys are doing it correctly. So if you're not, try it and tell me how it works. Okay, tip number 3 for you guys. My third tip is white noise. For day shift, for when you sleep on days, it is so important to be able to sleep quietly. And it's so hard to do that, especially if you have a full house like myself. I have 3 kids, I have 2 dogs. You know, I have a husband that likes to build all kinds of stuff during the day. So white noise is so important to be able to drown out that actual noise. If you don't know what white noise is, it's pretty much that you're constantly playing a background noise while you're asleep so that you don't hear those little itty bitty noises that sometimes startle you and wake you up out of your sleep. There are a ton of different options out there. For me personally, what works best for me is my bathroom fan. The fan that you turn on before you go into the shower, that I just leave on while I'm asleep, and it drowns out all the other background noise. There's also all kinds of apps out there. There's an actual white noise app. And not that I'm sponsored or anything, but it has all kinds of, you can choose from shower noise, you can choose from rain as your noise, you can have traffic as your background noise, whatever you choose. There's also white noise machines that they actually sell. So you choose what you want, but it is one of the best things that I ever did was discover that white noise really, really helped me sleep, especially when I have kids and they're screaming outside. I don't hear none of that when I'm asleep, just because that bathroom fan that I turn on really, really drowns out any other noise. So get yourself a white noise app. I promise you won't regret it. Okay, so tip 4, of course, most of us can't sleep with the daylight shining right in our faces. So 2 tips that I can share with you guys in this one tip is, one, you can get a little face mask. You know, they have all kinds of cute ones just to kind of block the sunlight from your eyes. Or 2, you can get blackout curtains, and you can get blackout curtains anywhere. You can go to Amazon, you can go to Target, you can go to, you know, whatever website store there is. More than likely there are blackout curtains. But recently I found some really cute ones on Society6, and they have really cute blackout curtains. So even though they're meant to keep the sun out, they can go with any decor theme you want. So yeah, just because you want to be able to sleep doesn't mean your room has to look ugly. But definitely that helps. You have to have a dark room to be able to sleep, or else that daylight will just glare into your eyes and you just wake up. Your body naturally wants to be awake when there's sunlight out. That's just how we're wired as humans. So definitely get some blackout curtains. And if you can't afford blackout curtains, there's little face masks you can use. Hell, sometimes when I go to sleep somewhere else, I went to sleep to my parents one time, they just literally taped up blankets to cover the sunlight. So definitely want to put yourself in that ambiance for sleep and get yourself some blackout curtains. All right, tip 5. Tip 5 is to meal prep. I can't tell you how much meal prepping has changed my life. Husband and I started meal prepping. We ended up finding a friend from the gym who would meal prep for us, and we literally just would go pick up our meals and warm them up and go. And then eventually she moved on and we started doing it for ourselves. But if you don't have time to do it for yourselves, because it is an all-day thing, it literally is a 8 to 10 hour day of just cooking so that you could have meals for the week. And most people don't want to spend all day cooking. I mean, there's different businesses out there that literally all they do is meal prep, and that you go and you pay and they prep your meals for a week. That might be a little pricey too, but there's also stores like Safeway or Save Mart. They cook chicken for you. So you can just put some rice in the crock pot and go buy some cooked chicken and just meal prep that way. And the reason why meal prep helps so much is because when you work 12-hour night shifts, you don't want to wake up, cut into your sleep, and wake up to have to cook a whole meal. You know, that could take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. So you want to be able to just grab a meal, put it in your lunch bag and go. That way you can sleep as long as you can, or even for your family. Like, I'm working this week, I'm not gonna be able to cook for you guys. Your meals are in the fridge, you know? Meal prepping is definitely a game changer, and if you haven't done it, I suggest you try it, especially if you're working night shift. Okay, tip number 6 is a routine. I can't tell you how important it is to set a routine for yourself. On your days to work, on your days off, you need to have a routine. For example, I know that when I work, my routine is usually take my little one to school, come home, shower, sleep, wake up, unwind, relax with the kids, and then go to work. I know that during those days that I work, I don't have any plans in between. And the reason why I'm able to do this is because on my days off, I also have a routine. So Mondays are my vacuuming and dusting days. Tuesdays are my bathroom cleaning days. Wednesdays are my mopping days and sweeping days. And I do this so that I do all of my work, my house chores on my days off. So on my days to work, I have very minimal to do, if anything at all. So establish a routine for yourself, stick to it. And it'll definitely help you on your days, the days that you have to work, to get that much more sleep. Trust me, it'll help. All right, tip 7 for you guys is to try to schedule your work days together, or work nights. So it's very important that you try to block your days together. For example, my schedule is I work 4 nights on, 2 nights off, then 2 nights on, then 6 nights off. And the reason I do this is so that I can get into a night shift routine all my days in a row. That way I'm not doing 1 day on, 1 day off. It's just too hard to do that switch with 1 day off in between. If possible, if you're gonna survive night shift, you definitely have to try to schedule your days together. Talk to your manager, talk to whoever makes your schedule, Tell them that you want your days together. And most facilities, most employers understand that, and they will accommodate that for you. And also, you want your days off together so that you can try to function as a normal human being and switch to that day shift mode, so that, you know, it's not taking a toll on you completely. And if you can't do your days together, because some people can't, they just want to work 2 days on and then have 2 days off and then 2 days back on, hey, that's your choice. I just know personally, for me, working night shift, having this block of schedule of days together has really, really helped. Okay, tip 8 for you guys, support system. It is so important to have a good support system if you want to be able to work night shift for the long term. I'm very blessed, as I've mentioned before, that I have a great husband who handles the house while I'm gone, who handles the kids. My kids are a little bit more grown now, so they also handle the house. If you are not in a situation like myself, you can reach out to extended family. You can, you know, your neighbors who are your friends. You know, sometimes they can do you the favor and pick up your kids from school so you can sleep a little extra or arrange a little something. I used to, with my neighbor, she would drop off all the kids at school and I would pick them all up. You know, so little things like that. You need to establish a really good support system, you know. And then, of course, you have friends also who eventually, they're like family to you, you know. You can reach out to them to help you with, you know, running your kids to practices or taking them to school, or just little things that you may need, you know. Definitely you want to establish a good support system. I know a lot of new nurses may not have families yet, but if you want to survive on night shift and you're like me, you're married with kids, this is kind of how I've been able to do this for so long, is establishing a good, strong support system, especially at home, that I know that somebody's always going to be there for my kids, and that I know they're always going to have food on the table ready when they're ready to eat. Little things like that really, really do change. And then it allows your mind also to relax so that you are able to sleep and get a good night's rest, or good day's rest. But yeah. Okay. Tip number 9 for you guys is to be okay. Well, it's hard to be okay, but try to be okay with missing events. You're probably going to miss a good handful of events, especially if you work in a hospital setting. You know, you're going to probably miss holidays and whatnot. Being a new grad or a new nurse, you're definitely going to have to work some holidays. You're definitely going to have to work, you know, weekends, you know. So you need to be okay and kind of have a talk with your family that, you know what, you guys have to let me know ahead of time for your event so I could try to get the day off. If not, I'm gonna miss it. Or, you know, I can't be there for the whole event, but I can be there for a little bit after I wake up and I have to leave early and I'll go to work. You know, my family thankfully has been understanding. You know, they try to schedule things on my weekends off, or, you know, they just tell me ahead of time. And if I can't make it because I'm gonna work, I'll message them and say, hey, I work this weekend, I can't go, but my husband and my kids will go for me, or I'll go when I wake up. I'll show up for a little bit, you know, but there's no pressure. I stopped feeling guilty about having to miss things a long time ago, because the more guilty you feel, the more your mind is just going to race and you're not going to be able to sleep, because you're like, I have to go to this thing, I have to go, I'm going to miss it, you know, this is what it is. This is the career you chose, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay, and your family will be okay with that as well. I've missed a handful of my children's things, but you know, thankfully I have grandparents and my husband who are always there to support them. All right, so my last tip for you guys is to be okay with being tired some days. Some days you're gonna feel like a zombie, especially if you don't get a good night's rest or a good day's rest. But you need to be okay with that, you know, especially like I said, being a new nurse, you're more than likely going to have to work night shift. And the more you sit there and say, I hate night shift, I'm not a night shifter, night shift's not for me, the more unhappy you're going to be yourself. And the more mentally you're going to psych yourself out that you can't sleep, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then eventually it's going to, it's going to take a toll on your body. So there's some days where I wake up early just because my body wanted to wake up at that time, and it's like, okay, today I slept 5.5 hours and I have to work a 12-hour shift, but it's okay. I'm just gonna get up and do what I have to do. The next day I'll sleep. You have to have that mentality that you're gonna be tired some days, and it's okay. You're gonna do what you have to do to get through it. If night shift isn't for you, you know, when there's an opening on day shift, take it. You can go ahead and, you know, nobody's telling you to stay on night shift forever. I've chosen to stay on night shift just because it helps with my family. It's a lot easier. I see my children more working on night shift than I do day shift. So that's why I've chosen to stay on night shift. That doesn't mean that some days I'm not tired. Absolutely, I'm always tired, especially when I'm working. But that is something that, you know, I know what I chose to do and I'm okay with it. Some days I'm tired, but you know what? I get to see my kids for a little bit during the day, and that's what matters more to me than me being tired. So you just have to learn to be okay with being tired. And, you know, you got to do what you got to do to survive. So just a little tip. That I think is the most important tip to be able to survive on night shift for this long. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope some of these tips resonate with some of you. I hope that they help you survive night shift. You know, you may never know. You may grow to love night shift and stay on night shift for as long as I have. When I first started, I started on night shift just because that was the only position that was open. I took it and I never looked back ever since. I just kind of stayed here. So yeah, let me know if these help you. Let me know if you have questions, concerns, comment and subscribe, share, whatever you want to do with this page. I just really hope that some of my tips and advice help you. Have a good day.